Located on a Lake Erie peninsula is a place many of you have been. If not, you have most likely heard of it. Sandusky, Ohio is home to one of the best amusement parks in the world, Cedar Point. During the summer and fall season, people from all over the world migrate to Sandusky to get a taste of the thrills Cedar Point has to offer. If you aren't much of a thrill seeker though, don't worry, Cedar Point has something for everyone. Because of family ties, I have been to Cedar Point more times than I can count. And it helps that my dad grew up in Sandusky. It wasn't summer if we didn't go to Cedar Point, and because of this, I have grown to learn a lot about it. Today, I will discuss the history of Cedar Point, a few popular attractions that have made Cedar Point so well known, and the fall favorite that draws people to Cedar Point into the months of September and October. Cedar Point opened its doors in 1870. Louis Estelle, a businessman in Sandusky, opened a beer garden and dance floor on the peninsula. He would bring people on his boat and utilize the beachfront. Before Cedar Point was dominated by rides, it was more popular for its sailing and beach parties. When Cedar Point finally debuted their first roller coaster, it was called the Switchback Railway it stood at a whopping 25 feet tall and went 10 miles an hour. In 1897, George A. Beckling bought Cedar Point. The Beckling era was known for its success and is an era I have come to learn a lot about, because George Beckling is my great-great-uncle. Beckling introduced Cedar Point to many new additions, including hotels, restaurants, rides, and games, and is responsible for much of its success. He brought life to the park, and after his death in 1931, the park slowed down substantially on expansion. After rejuvenation of the park, though, in 1964, the Blue Streak opened, which started the building of many of the great roller coasters we have come to know today. Throughout the years, Cedar Point has accumulated a total of 71 rides, but I'm only going to cover a few of these today. The Blue Streak is a wooden coaster that is 78 feet tall and goes about 40 miles an hour. Although that may not seem like much now, it was a huge ride back in the 60s. The ride is the oldest operating coaster at Cedar Point, and almost 52 years old, it is still one of the best rides in the park. In 1978, the Gemini opened as the world's tallest and fastest coaster. This ride is unique to other coasters, though, because it is a racing coaster, meaning that there are two tracks side by side. One is blue and one is red. Typically, when I go to Cedar Point, I ride in the blue cart because that's my favorite color, and it's won a lot of times. So if you're ever there, I suggest blue. And then in 1989, Magnum XL 200 opened. It was the first coaster in the world to top 200 feet tall. This coaster is still popular today, and while you ride it, you have a great view. On one side, you have Lake Erie, and on the other, Soak City, Cedar Point's water park. To build this ride, they used 568 tons of steel. The ride is actually red, but this is the best picture I could find of it on Cedar Point's website. As our planet entered a new millennium, Cedar Point struck the world with Millennium Force. This screen machine stands at 310 feet tall and gets up to 93 miles an hour. At the time of its debut, it was the tallest and fastest coaster in the world. To this day, Millennium Force is one of the most popular roller coasters in the world. According to GoldenTicketAwards.com, it won the Golden Ticket for #1 steel coaster 3 consecutive years after its debut, which was 2000 to 2002. It got knocked off the list for a year by Six Flags Superman, and then in 2004 and 2005 made its way back on the list. Then again, starting in 2010, and ever since then, it has been the #1 steel coaster in the world. 3 years after Millennium, Cedar Point opened Top Thrill Dragster as the new fastest and tallest coaster in the world. It stands at 420 feet, and you get up to 120 miles an hour in less than 4 seconds. The whole ride only lasts about 17 seconds, but believe me, it is worth the wait. The adrenaline rush that you get will leave you seeking more. According to UltimateRollerCoaster.com, Cedar Point opened the best new ride of 2007 when they opened Maverick. Maverick is a Western-themed coaster that features many twists and turns at high speeds. Although the hill is only 105 feet tall, the angle of the hill is 95 degrees, so you're not just going straight into the ground, you're going more than that. Cedar Point broke the record for most coasters in a park with 17 when they opened Maverick. Most recently, Gatekeeper was opened at Cedar Point. Gatekeeper is the longest wing coaster with the longest drop of a wing coaster on the planet. And when I say wing coaster, in the picture you see how the seats are outside of the track. To open Gatekeeper, they had to tear down the classic Space Spiral, which originally opened in 1965, and Disaster Transport, a unique indoor coaster, which was actually the first coaster I rode at Cedar Point. Cedar Point does not just specialize in coasters, though. They also specialize in Halloween. Every year, starting about halfway through September, Cedar Point has an event called Halloweekends. Every weekend, people come to enjoy the coasters or the many fall activities that we love, including an attraction dedicated to George Beckling. During the day, the park is family-friendly and offers many different activities. Along with being able to ride coasters, there are hay mazes, trick-or-treat, different shows, and a costume contest for kids. And Camp Soupy, the kids' portion of the park, turns into Camp Spooky. At night, the park turns into the ultimate scare zone. It features numerous mazes, shows, and haunted houses, and Hollywood makeup artists have helped with making the screamsters look as real as possible, and it can take up to 45 minutes to make these monsters look. According to Theme Park Insider, Halloweekends is ranked 5th best in the nation by Golden Ticket Awards for Halloween-themed events, which competes against places like Universal. As the years go on, Cedar Point continues to build coasters that break records and entertain families every day of the season. Although some of these records have been broken, Amusement Today voted Cedar Point the best amusement park in the world for 16 consecutive years. So if you're ever in Sandusky or looking for an adventure, head to Cedar Point and enjoy the coasters, Halloweekends, or the beautiful peninsula where it is located. Thank you.